All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. We are about to get started. Wanted to give you some time to grab something to eat first. If you've not had coffee, please go ahead and get some coffee while we get started. Welcome. Today is our June 2nd District 1 breakfast. I am Councilmember Johnson, and this is Goldenrod Activity Center. Again, we wanted to rotate our breakfast once a quarter around our district and not just be at Atwater all year round. That way we can engage more people. So thank you all for being here. So today we have a nice agenda. We will have an update from Public Works about our street improvements. I know a lot of you have seen our street improvements. Those have been looking wonderful. I know that some folks get annoyed by the cones, but that's just progress, and the work is getting done. We also have some special guests from Texas. We'll talk about them as well. And then I know you all are here to see Representative Finney and Senator Fausto give their update, so that will happen as well today. So we'll go ahead and get started with Public Works to talk about our street improvements. Oh, and we are on Facebook Live. Just wanted to put that out there. We try to share this on social media as well.
Better comb your hair. I don't need to worry about that anymore. Well, good morning, everyone. Good to be here this morning. I was asked to come and speak about street improvements that were related to the proceeds from the Hyatt sale and other scheduled street improvements in District 1 in the next few months, and also to talk a little bit about our spray injection patching process. If you don't mind, I thought I'd take a step back and talk maybe a little more broadly to start, just and kind of get some reasons for this. We're doing a lot of things differently recently. I just wanted to give you some background on why. Following the fiscal crisis in 2008, 2009, along with the national crisis in terms of infrastructure that I think probably everyone's heard about. Nationwide infrastructure is deteriorating, and everyone's looking at ways to try to stem that tide. Following the fiscal crisis in 2008, 2009, and some budget cuts that were seen to ongoing street maintenance here in Wichita, we began taking a really look at our approach and what the long-term consequences of that approach and alternative approaches might be to try to stem that tide. So a few years back, we started developing and now have implemented a model that allows us to compare various different approaches over a 40-year period of time. And really the combinations of what we can do are quite limitless, but two of the main ones we compare are the horse first type approach, which doesn't totally describe, but fairly accurately describes, I think, the city's historical approach. And it's one that makes a lot of sense because people usually like to see the worst street get fixed first. But when we model that over a 40-year period, because it is so costly to do that, we really fall off a cliff over time where our network value actually drops from what we currently estimate to be about $500 million to just $80 million after a 40-year period. So one of the alternative approaches that we modeled was one that focused on high return on investment. And the way we can get the highest return on investment is by trying to keep our good streets in good condition. Because when we get in early, it's not unlike keeping paint on your house. If you can get in early and do those low-cost treatments, you can actually gain a lot of life very cheaply. When we modeled that over time, we got very different results, much improved results. So since then, yes.
So fixing the worst streets first is not the best pattern.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So for example, mill and overlays. We did a lot of mill and overlays in the past. It's very popular. It results in a very nice street after you're done. That costs about $15 per square yard to do, and it buys you or extends the life around 12 years or so, 10 to 12 years. Whereas an alternative treatment on a newer street we can go in and preservative seal a road for about $1 a square yard and extend the life by 5 years. So we're buying those years much more cheaply, which is enough to build a 2-lane street from Los Angeles, excuse me, to New York City, with just enough left in between to connect Wichita to that road that spans basically the continental United States. It's a lot of pavement. Its replacement value is about $1.6 billion. Our current outsourced pavement maintenance budget is $8 million, right around $8 million a year. That's a replacement rate, if you do the math, once every 200 years is what that budget accounts for. So it is a long time, and it has historically been a long time before we're back to a particular street. When we, looking back to 2011, our typical outsourced contract maintenance program would address about 70 or so lane miles each year. Last year, we touched over 800 lane miles in the city of Wichita. And we're touching them in very different ways, but we're getting to a lot more streets a lot more frequently than we have in the past. On the downside, that also results in a lot more cones throughout town when we do that. So since we did that modeling, we've been going with this high return on investment based approach. One of the consequences of that kind of approach is when you're focusing on the good streets, you're not focusing on the bad streets. So we have recognized that we do need to peel some of the budget off, start trying to fix those streets that are in worse condition. Right now, we've modeled various combinations of funding. Right now, what seems to work the best over time is about a 60-40 split. But on the 40 side, where we're going in and working from the bottom up, we're not taking the approach of going in and trying to make a brand new street. We're trying to do things that serve to bring it up to an acceptable level of service, keep it safe and traversable, and get us down the road a little farther, and allow us to retain funds that we can continue to put into those high return on investment type treatments. Yes.
How's your pothole truck working out?
Well, it depends on who you and I got that in here. I'll get to that if you want. Yeah, absolutely.
We're curious. I've seen it one time in action.
Sure. So all these things were in play when the Hyatt sale took place in 2016. And City Council, of course, recognizes that streets are a high priority to residents. And I think that was well reflected in their decision to take $10 million from the Hyatt proceeds and invest them into streets. And specifically looking at those streets that were at the bottom end that weren't necessarily going to be impacted immediately with our high return on investment type approach. So it was a way to try to pick up a lot of those streets and move them up. And I'm sorry, this is a handout that we're providing if you want to follow along. But at the top there, it shows a small map of our citywide approach using the Hyatt funds. And then on the back side of the larger map, concentrating on this one, shows Hyatt work as well. So the strategy with the $10 million was to get as many streets in the poorest condition back up to an acceptable level of service as quickly as we could. So we focused on neighborhood streets, neighborhood asphalt streets, all across town. In District 1, we're yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'd like to know, I live in 100 block on Volusia, and you have done the 1600 block and across 13. And 14 and 1500 block have not been done, and I've been there since 1960. So I would just like to know why it hasn't been 1500 block on Volusia and the 1400.
Does maintenance include, that new street, or that's engineering?
That's engineering.
Okay, thanks.
And engineering is in charge of the geometric improvements, the adding turn lanes, expanding roadway sections. They're usually doing that kind of work through the
Oh,
CIP.
the intersections, that's Gary Jansen, that's mine.
And then we also work with them even on our contract maintenance items, these items here that I'm talking about today. Engineering is still heavily involved in letting those projects and administering the actual construction and inspecting the work. They're still heavily involved. It's a partnership with us in engineering on those projects.
Okay,
But we're primarily on the planning side as far as maintenance is concerned.
so when you say that, you don't let out the bids, engineering lets out the bids?
Yes, sir.
Question?
Yes.
So, does the city have an interest, or do you know anything about the white paving of streets that tries to collect heat versus hold heat in? I'm just thinking of, hot in summer, and a lot of our streets are in neighborhoods, and doing anything we can to sort of keep ourselves cooler without running our AC is real smart city planning. Do you have, it may be just a newfangled,
Yeah, I read something about that recently, where they were doing that in California.
yeah, in Arizona, I believe. I just didn't know if Wichita had any eyes on that, or any information, or thoughts about that kind of thing.
Well, I wouldn't say that we're taking a hard look at it yet necessarily, or peripheral. It's, at least from the article I read about what they were doing in California, it's very expensive. It doesn't last very long, that paint. I mean, our road markings, our pavement markings, striping on the roads, that doesn't last very long. It's not lasting long in California. It's really not going to last long here where we have freeze thaw. We're applying abrasive material in the winter,
Oh,
that
yeah,
kind of thing.
thank you.
Concrete's a nice alternative to asphalt in that regard in terms of the heat island, but concrete is quite a bit more expensive than asphalt.
And there's some new things with different aggregates and things like that on concrete that I've heard about that make concrete less expensive. Is that, is there somebody who's looking at innovation in this stuff for the city and making sure where we should be spending money on innovative things that will long-term benefit us?
Yes, absolutely. And our engineering division in particular is engaged in that type of work, yes. Especially in regards to new construction. So at the same time that the Hyatt proceeds were targeted, $10 million targeted toward poor condition residential asphalt streets, we had completed our first year of using a new spray injection technology. We were looking at and hoping to expand that a bit. What we had been using before was a two-man operation, and we had reached out and seen, demoed a single operator version of that same process. So at the same time that the Hyatt proceeds were awarded, we began talking about and then proceeded with this spray injection program that's been going on in District 1 earlier this year. We wanted to target poor condition residential concrete streets because we knew that the Hyatt proceeds were going to target the asphalt streets. We wanted to see what we could do for the concrete streets. Our traditional path is that you're mixing it actually on site and applying it there. So you don't have to have a real slow setting asphalt. The cold patch that we've used historically is designed to sit in a pile for months and remain malleable so that you can go out and put it in a pothole. The problem is, once you put it in the pothole, it still remains malleable. So over the years, we were going back and patching the same pothole over and over again when rain or freeze thaw would, or even just traffic would move that material out. The spray injection patches, we think the majority of them, on average, are going to last up to 5 years or more. So we're going to make significant gains there. The difficulty fixing it on site, it can be picked up and tracked by cars pretty easily. So that's the reason why when we're doing that method, there's a lot of dry aggregate that's applied on top to keep cars from tracking that material, picking it up on the tires until the asphalt sets.
Let me ask one more question.
Yes, sir.
In the 900 block of Ohio, almost all of the curb has been destroyed, it's broken really bad. You did the resurfacing, but you did nothing with the curb and gutter. So you really need to take a look at those curbs and gutters in that neighborhood.
900 block of Ohio.
900 block of Ohio.
I think that is one that we're already, engineering's already looked at and has plans
I
to
would
move that.
imagine they probably have.
Have you by chance shared an email with us regarding that?
Sorry?
Did you by chance share an email with us regarding that
No.
concern?
All the property was 900 block of Indiana.
Okay, 900 block of Ohio.
What's
Right.
your contact?
I have, part two that I can. So,
Should we contact you about building us
oh, about,
brick?
yes.
Because I live on Brick Street, and there are potholes that have, I mean, where the bricks are, where the fire, I suppose, was done before I moved in 2 years ago. And there's patches of concrete all Is that any way to fix that? Maybe like bricks again? You said don't bricks when you did the Third Street Drainage Project. We were told not to take them, so this was the bricks.
There certainly is a way. Our challenge is resources and demand.
Yeah.
But certainly it's something we can take a look at. Yeah, I don't, in all honesty, I don't think it's something that we're gonna be able to get to right away by any
Well,
means.
no, but it'd be nice to have it do, not have
Um,
to.
Too detrimental to the lifespan of the road and streets that we're doing. Sure. So the spray injection patching is complete in District 1. Like I said, that the dry aggregate was problematic. We are now having our operators are paying closer attention to that, notifying us if there's an issue so we can get in more quickly to sweep up afterwards. And then we're also having supervisors periodically check locations that have been done, just to make sure we're not missing.
It looked beautiful in one of the blocks that you've done, only there is black FPV, and there would be hot summer.
Are those the ones that have been microserved?
They've been, they did all the curves and gutters and nothing done the streets, and it's nice, but
Well, unfortunately, it will, not in that regard, but unfortunately in terms of life, it'll oxidize and start to bleach out. We'll get life there. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, thank you. I just want to thank you guys for what you do. My concern is you are coming back and doing inner city streets. What is your plan, because we know asphalt is catching this, to the second streets once they start decaying down there? And secondly, thank you for my concrete. We dedicated the street the other day, and it looks good, and it's gonna be there for a while, hopefully. But we know asphalt only has 3 to 5 year lifespan, and then you're gonna have to patch it. So as you do these projects, what is your plan on making these projects sustainable over time? And also, I noticed you don't have, and I guess that's not part of your feet, of closing 17th Street between I-35 and Washington and redoing that street completely. And how does that affect the 15th Street Bridge project?
Well, I know that the 10th and 15th Street bridges have been under discussion. I'm not sure exactly where that stands. ongoing discussion.
But my concern is, what are you gonna do when you close off 17th Street between, I-35 and Washington to fix it and widen it up for the truck traffic and stuff?
Okay, I got you.
And that's gonna impact that bridge to some effect, because people are gonna convert to 15th Street, because that will be the closest open street, rather than go down to 13th Street. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, I will let engineering, that's a good point. I will let engineering know about that. I don't know
And
if
that should be when you take account, not when, they're using 17th Street, because 17th Street is gonna be closed, for, infrastructure and repaving and lighting. And that will have a direct impact on McAdams as well as the bridge.
Yeah, I will absolutely.
Thank you.
I don't see anything about higher Minnesota, 21st, all the way up to 27th Street. No. Is there any reason we want to look at,
No, it's, not a little bit. What's that?
higher Minnesota from 21st Street north, it's not really listed.
I in Minnesota, north of 21st.
And then street. So we'll never make a decision.
We'll absolutely think, yes. Sure. We, the Hyatt, program we're on, it addressed about 40% of our poorest condition streets that do not have acceptable remaining service lines. Even the 10 million ones are not getting all of those. So it's built by Burkamp, they're actually in Salina, Kansas, so almost a local, and you can work out that way.
What about the material itself?
The material itself is, we get the aggregate from Ornano Materials, I believe, and the asphalt emulsion we get from McConnell Associates here in town. Yes, try to do that as much as we can. I run over on time.
About 3 minutes.
3 minutes? So I guess just to close up with, we also have our regular program this year in 2018. On the front of your sheet, there's a kind of a citywide, I call it, it's pretty small, and then on the back, of course, is District 1 focus. The total program's about $8.5 million this year. We're continuing that focus on high return on investment treatments. We're looking at doing a reduction in the standalone spot repair treatments. Last 4 years, we've done a couple of efforts to go through and try to resolve thermal cracks, big, wide, bone-jarring cracks that we have in a lot of material residential streets. We've gone through targeting those specifically, which is why on a lot of streets, you see the lines going across. That definitely is not the aesthetic look that we hope to achieve, but it's an effective means of stretching our dollars there. But those two efforts have ended, so this year there's going to be a lot less of that, a lot more of that type of work, followed by surfaces. That'll make everything uniform.
I've noticed something in the last couple of years that I have never seen before. Some of our streets, like Buckle, with the race, they're grinding it off. I'm like, oh, what are they doing? I mean, you know, it's a temporary fix, but save you from doing a whole bunch of work and smooth the street out immediately. I love that. I don't know why it hasn't been done all along. But now they're doing it. I think that's really smart.
We love those kinds of roads. They're really smart. Yes, sir.
I've been to two neighborhood meetings where there's been a map like this just for their neighborhood. Do neighborhood associations get those from you or through GIS?
Well, to be honest with you, those have been made up specifically for individual presentations. We don't make up individual maps beforehand, but the overall citywide map, you can easily access that from the city's website. And of course,
next couple of years, right?
Yes, that's right. Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Good morning, everyone. I bring greetings from El Paso, Texas. It's wonderful to be here. My name is Amanda Loya, and I have 3 students with me this morning that are joining me as guests. So why don't you please stand up so I can introduce you? Two of these students are with me. We come from El Paso, Texas, University of Texas at El Paso. We have a brand new School of Pharmacy that just kicked off its first year. And these 2 students, Henrietta and Sandra, raise your hand, ladies. They just finished their first year as students of the School of Pharmacy. And we're also joined by Mandy. This is Mandy. She is a student at the Wichita campus of the KU School of Pharmacy. And so she's serving as our student ambassador during this experience. So just briefly, I just wanted to share with you that one of the things that we have our students do at the School of Pharmacy in El Paso is a study away experience. We want our students to get outside of their home community and learn about other communities across the country, and we are also looking at international experiences as well. So our students are here in Wichita for the next week, and they're exploring the community and learning about healthcare in this community, but also learning about how this community engages with its members. And so we're just really grateful to Councilmember Johnson and also Camila Alexander, who allowed us to come and invited us to join. So we're getting a chance to see how the community members engage with the community government to make things happen. So it's a really great experience. They're learning about other cultures and other communities, and we hope that this will help them become better pharmacists who can serve their communities. I'm a pharmacist, and as a pharmacist, it's extremely important for me to understand about the community that I serve. And so we're giving them a chance to not just learn about their community in El Paso, but learning about others as well, and getting ideas and best practices that they can take back. So we're excited to be here. It's our first trip to Kansas. We hope to be back next summer and the summer after that, and we hope that this exchange will continue. And we hope to be able to have the opportunity to take students from pleased to be here, and we really enjoy the hospitality of the people here in Wichita. So thank you so much, and we'll be around after. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Wow.
Thank you. I hope the heat here in Wichita is a little nice.
Well, the humidity is something that we're trying to adjust to. We're in a desert, so it's hot, but it's dry heat. So the humidity's been a little rough, especially yesterday was a little tough for us. My curly hair did not like that. But it's been fun. And we timed this experience to coincide with Riverfest. So we're going to get a chance to enjoy that.
So get a funnel cake.
Yes, already did that last week. It was good. Yes, thank you.
So, next up we have our friends from the state level. While we were in the presentation, Senator Faust Godot and Representative Casey O'Harbison joined us. So we will hear from them about some updates on what happened in the session this year, key issues, things to pay attention to, and I will turn it over to them. So thank you all for being here.
Well, I'm just going to stand up for a minute just to say hi to the people in the back. I want to thank Councilman Brandon Johnson for, I think this is neat to rotate around so that all the district members can get an opportunity to, attend a meeting in their community, in their neighborhood association area. I also want to thank each of you for